All right, Shalom. This the brother Rayab and the brother Shair from the Cleveland branch, GMS, coming back at you with another quick lesson through the spirit of the Most High and the Son before camp. So, we got this book that we about to bring out a story in and drop a couple scriptures. But before that, we have to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Bashem, Rakal, Kadash, Barakadah. We'd like to give double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone, the real truths of all Israel on earth today, if you can receive it. We'd like to send salutations to the hopeful elect, the house of David, that's preaching this truth in season and out of season, and all truth and all sincerity. And with that, we'd like to say Shalom.
Shalom. Alright, it's the book. It's the book When I Was a Slave. It says Memoirs from the Slave Narrative Collection. And it's written by, it's written by Norman R. Yetman. And this is a story of the testimony of Julia Brown. And it says, interview at Atlanta, Georgia, interviewed by Geneva Tonsil, age when interviewed 85. So this lady, Julia Brown, she was 85. She was interviewed. All right, and it says, slaves were treated in most cases like cattle. A man went about the country buying up slaves like buying up cattle and the like, and he was called a speculator. Then he'd sell them to the highest bidder. Oh, it was pitiful to see. It was pitiful to see children taken from their mother's breast. Mothers sold, husbands sold from wives. One woman he was to buy had a baby, and of course the baby come before he brought her. But he wouldn't buy the baby, said he hadn't bargained to buy the baby too, and he just wouldn't.
So this is how children got separated from their moms and husbands from their wives and families separated back in the slave days.
You want the next highlighted part?
Oh, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, so that goes back to the slave trade. You can get that, Joel, the 3rd chapter.
Alright,
Another one to tie in with Joel, the 3rd chapter. I'm trying to find it.
Alright, okay, Salakia, bear with me right quick.
Read this one first and then get to Joel.
Alright, the blue. Alright, now this is another story from a lady named Della Garlick. Alright, and this is her testimony. She was 100 when she was interviewed in Montgomery, Alabama, and a woman named Margaret Fowler interviewed her, and she said slavery days was hell. I was grown up when the war come, and I was a mother before it closed. Babies were snatched from their parents, babies were snatched from their mother's breast and sold to speculators. Children was separated from sisters and brothers and never saw each other again. Of course they cried. You think they not gonna cry when they were sold like cattle? I could tell you about it. I could tell you about it all day, but even then you couldn't guess the awfulness of it. It's bad to belong to folks that own you, your soul and body, that can tie you up to a tree with your face to the tree and your arms fastened tight around it. Who take a long curling whip and cut the blood every lick.
Yeah, so we was in slavery, sold, and they used to beat the shit out of the slaves, man. But you can.
What, that Joel? Alright, this Joel.
Hold on. Well, no, bring it out.
Alright, Khan. You want me to start at verse 3 or from the top?
Let's start at 3.
Alright, this Joel chapter 3, verse 3. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Casting lots is like sold. One nigga here gone, sold for 3, for 4, for 5. You feel me? And then instead sold boys for harlots. So they should trick out the little boys and sell them to be, you feel me, like sex slaves. But that boy for a harlot, that's in this book also. This is what I was looking for right here.
Alright, this is another testimony of a woman named Rose Williams. Alright, she was 90 years old when she was interviewed in Worth, Texas. And the lady was not, the person that interviewed her is not identified. Alright, and she said, when we get to the trading block, there was a lot of white folks there that come to look the slaves over.
That's right. You feel me? Like if you was selling people, and then you had the white folks coming and like touching on them, poking on their chest and shit. Like, oh, all right. You feel me?
Right. Salakia, if I can speak for a moment. You know, in the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom, they show you that. You know, they had to examine the slaves, make sure they was healthy, they ain't had no disease or nothing. So they so when they be working in the field, basically we was like property, man. They had to make sure their property wasn't all broken down. Yeah, right. When she said the white folks, or Salakia, she said, I believe there was about 50 niggers there for sale. She said the white folks am looking this one and that one over. There am one man that shows interest in Pappy. His name Hawkins. He talked to Pappy, and Pappy talked to him and said, them and my woman and child, please buy him. I portly and strong as the mule. He then said, a likely looking nigger, but 3 am more than I want. So I guess
he was basically telling me like, man, please buy my whole family. And the white man was like, no, because I wasn't coming to buy 3.
Right.
Basically, like, you feel me? I'm about to buy you for a reason.
All right, and then she says the sale starts in 20 long till Pappy and put on the clock on Salakia on the block. Master Hawkins wins the bid for Pappy, and when Mammy
is the bid, so that go back to casting lots. How do you win the bid? You bid higher than the next person.
Exactly. And it said, Salakia. It says, then there am 2 or 3 other niggas sold before my time comes. Then Master Black calls we uns to the block. Then auction man says, how much am I offered for this portly, strong, young wench? Salakia, wench. She never been abused and will make a good breeder. Right, so the speculator, he was basically selling the woman and telling her like she never been touched, and she can bring forth babies. You know, she can bring forth babies in a fast manner. All right, he said, I sure have the worriment. There am tears beating down my cheeks, cause I'm being sold to some party that would cause separation from my mammy. One of the bidders bid 500, and the auction man am asking, do I hear more? She she am going at 500. Then someone says 525. No one bid higher, and the auction man says she am going for 525. She am going for 525. She am sold for 525 to Master Hawkins. Am I glad and excited? Why I quiver all over.
Right, so now bring that Joel 3:3 back.
It's Joel chapter 3 verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people.
They have cast lots for my people. One nigger soul, you feel me, you is bidding on property, man. But we're gonna see what is the judgment for that. Give me the judgment, in Revelations.
Okay. Revelations chapter 13 verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity.
And that's exactly what happened. When they put us up on them auctioning blocks, nigger sold 2, 3 going for 4 for 5. They led us into captivity.
It said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So the whole so-called white race is going into captivity according to the Bible. Man, woman, and child.
And it says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
And they was also killing us and hanging us. And everybody knows the story of the so-called black man going into slavery, the so-called Native American man going into slavery, and it's all by the hands of the same people.
I got a precept.
30 and 16.
This Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured.
And who devoured us? Those slave masters, the slave owners, the slave traders, all these different nations.
Because in the book that we was reading out of, the book said when I was a slave, and the women was giving their different testimonies, you know. One woman was saying that they was getting tied up to trees and getting beat with the flesh coming out of them, man, with the whip.
That's right. That's a form of the sword.
Right. And it says, every one of them shall go into Salakia, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil.
It says every one of them, every nation, every woman, child, everyone that had a hand in our slavery is going into captivity. And with that, we have to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakal, Kodash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders and apostles, and shalom to the brothers. Shalom.